What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C4, and today we are doing my mid-season mock draft for the Philadelphia Eagles. You guys requested it, so I decided let's release my first official mock draft of the season way too early. I'm recording this as the Philadelphia Eagles are up 10-6 over the Atlanta Falcons right now. So I'm in a somewhat good mood. I'm expecting them to fucking choke and probably lose this game. But as it stands right now, they're winning, so I'm in a pump mood. So let's do this video. So I used CBSSports.com's prospect rankings for basically the grades, the draft grades where guys are projected to go to make this video. So with our first overall pick in the first round, that's because we got the Minnesota Vikings, we're probably gonna pick middle. It's gonna be in the middle somewhere there. The Vikings are definitely simmering off a little bit, so I assume this pick will be between like 14 and 19. We're going to draft Corey Davis, the wide receiver out of Western Michigan. He's 6'3", 215 pounds, 4.4 speed. He's a burner. He's a guy that can go on the outside, make a bunch of plays. The only thing really against him is that he's from an air raid-ish offense and not playing the toughest competitions. But, a lot of question marks came over. They lost Daniel Braverman. He was a phenomenal, maybe one of the best slot receivers in college last year. They lost him, and a lot of people were starting to write Corey Davis off. They said that it was a 1-2 punch, and without him there, think of kind of like Randall Cobb and Jordy Nelson in Green Bay. So Corey Davis has been balling out this year, and for my money, he is the number one wide receiver that the Philadelphia Eagles should target. Juju Smith-Schuster and Mike Williams are, they're almost the consensus number one and number two wide receiver in this draft, and I wouldn't be totally upset with them. Maybe more so with Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm fucking fed up with USC wide receivers. But Corey Davis is realistic. He has a first to second round grade, so he should be available where the Eagles pick with that Vikings pick, and he's the guy I would want. Two alternative picks I have here. One is John Ross, the wide receiver from Washington. Again, a burner. The thing is, though, John Ross is 5'11", 180, and has 4.3 speed. Corey Davis is 6'3", 215 with 4.4 speed. So both are burners. But John Ross, for me, the reason why I'm going Corey Davis over John Ross, and a lot of Eagles mocks will have John Ross, is John Ross has been a little bit of a one-hit wonder. He had a couple injuries, but for the most part, he's only been producing for this one season with Washington. I want a guy that has long tenured success. I don't want a potential one-year wonder, especially burning a first pick on that potential one-year wonder. But I would not be completely upset, much like, when we drafted Nelson Aguilar, for example, I was livid. So if they got John Ross, I wouldn't be completely upset. I understand it. He's a burner. He can separate the field, and it's a great compliment to Jordan Matthews, which is essentially what we need in a wide receiver. I'm going to use this word. I think Jordan Matthews could be a phenomenal wide receiver too in this league, but he needs that outside presence to stretch the field. The guy that we haven't had since Deshaun Jackson. And the reason why we're going wide receiver here in the first round is because, let's be honest, we're not going to win the lottery and get Alshon Jeffrey. And outside of Alshon Jeffrey, I do not see a wide receiver, maybe Terrell Pryor. But the problem with Terrell Pryor is that he's going to be getting his last contract of probably his career. He's 28 years old. We need a guy that we can build around with Jordan Matthews. So I think we have to go wide receiver with the first pick. Another alternative would be Sidney Jones, the cornerback from Washington. Looks like Jalen Tabor will be definitely gone before we pick, and I think Sidney Jones is my number 2 corner. You got smaller guys like Desmond King, Jordan Lewis. Those guys are a little bit small on the smaller side. I'd actually go for a guy that's 6 feet tall, bigger body, and Sidney Jones from Washington. But for my pick, it will be Corey Davis. And then in the second round, we got Mike McGlinchey, the left tackle from Notre Dame, 6'7", 310 pounds. He is the only left guy I can see right now that could start and play at left tackle, because I'm not sold on Lane Johnson starting and playing left tackle when Jason Peters moves on. Who says Jason Peters moves on? He's playing really good this year, and obviously the Eagles would know the status of him before this draft. But I think we go Mike McGlinchey. I thought he was going to be a first-round grade. He currently has a second-round grade on CBS Sports, and there's rumors that he might not declare. So I have 2 alternatives. One is Adam Bisnowadi. He's a right tackle from Pitt. That would be the guy you would go with in case, they decide they want to put Lane Johnson at left tackle, and then we have to get a right tackle. I think Bisnowadi, great run blocker, but he's definitely not going to be a left tackle. He's a right tackle all the way. Or if we want to go running back, get Wayne Gallman, the running back from Clemson. I think he's incredibly underrated. Great speed, good power, and he can pass block. Everyone remembers, Ezekiel, and he can pass block. Wayne Gallman can totally do this. But again, I think the Eagles staff might be content with what we have at running back in the future. Ryan Matthews will probably be gone, but having Darren Sproles, Wendell Smallwood and stuff, I could see them not wanting to burn a second-round pick on a running back, and I wouldn't. But I know a lot of Eagle fans want a running back. I think Wayne Gallman could be a guy here in the second round. There's a couple other guys that could slip. Royce Freeman, one of them. Samaje Perine's there. But for my money, maybe it's just I like Clemson a lot. I'd go Wayne Gallman. So then, in the third round, this is a bit of a stretch. I just have a prediction he's going to slip because he's been hurt most of the season. Cameron Sutton, the corner from Tennessee, 5'11", 185. Not the biggest corner, but this guy's everything you want. He's incredibly feisty, a great tackler, and has a really good vertical to kind of compensate. 5'11" is not super short, but it's probably as short as you'd absolutely want to go on the outside. But I think he's an unbelievable, underrated talent, and a guy that, second, almost borderline first-round grade, when healthy. I think he might slip to the third round because of the knocks and injuries he's had and his inability to stay on the field with Tennessee. That's a little bit of a worry, but the last time we drafted a guy on the defensive side of the ball with some injury history, his name was Jordan Hicks, and he's looking like a franchise linebacker for us. So then we have 2 fourth-round picks. One is from Cleveland, one is our own. So with our first, I'm addressing the outside linebacker spot, not only because, A, Nigel Bradham has me a little bit worried with the off-field allegations, and 2, Michael Kendricks is incredibly hot and cold. I know Kendricks is technically an inside linebacker. We have him play him a little bit on the outside. So I would look at Vince Beagle, the outside linebacker from Wisconsin, 6'4", 245, great big size, seems like a guy perfect for a Jim Schwartz defense. He's a sound tackler, great mechanics, which is what you want. Jim Schwartz defense is a guy, you want a big motherfucker that can tackle. He's never going to really, miss. He's not going to go high. He's going to be, not the flashy, big, jacked up hitter guy. He's going to make tackles when you need guys to make tackles. I think Beagle in the fourth round would be phenomenal. An alternative pick here would be Jalen Reeves-Maben, the outside linebacker from Tennessee, a great athlete. Again, much like Cameron Sutton from Tennessee, a lot of big players on that Tennessee Vols defense has been injured, but Reeves-Maben is another great athletic. If you want to go more athletic, as opposed to Vince Beagle, who's your bruiser, old school type outside linebacker, that could definitely be an option, but I would roll with Beagle. And then with our second fourth round pick, I think we need to get not only 2 wide receivers in this draft, but 2 corners. So we're going with Chidobe Awuzie, I don't even know how to fucking pronounce his name, but his tape looked phenomenal. The corner from Colorado, one of the surprising teams in the Pac-12 for, I think they're ranked 10th, 12th. They're real high ranked right now. They're playing very well. He's 5'11", 205, incredibly athletic. Some people are saying that he may even be better than Adoree Jackson. I mean, he's kind of a tweener a little bit at the corner position. He's more athletic than actual football IQ. A lot of people are ranting and raving about Awuzie. We'll go Awuzie. I think that's definitely the best way to pronounce it. But I like this tape. I'm sold. I think we need to get as many corners as we can. Nolan Carroll's getting old. We got Lewis McKelvin, who should not be on this team. So I think we have as many young, talented prospects in the corner position as we can, because heaven forbid we ever have to dip into free agency to try to bring another corner, and that's our absolute Achilles heel right now for the Philadelphia Eagles organization. 2 alternative picks. You can look at Kevin King, a corner from Washington, 6'3". He's a monster, just absolute big guy. A little bit of a prospect and a project type player, but I wouldn't, like I said, we've shown with Jalen Mills that we can go with a project guy. We'll give him a chance to play, and if he can make plays, we'll get him out there on the field. Another one would be Brian Cox, defensive end from Florida, in case they want to add another rotational defensive lineman out there. Brian Cox, beast, big, mean type Jim Schwartz guy on the defensive side of the ball. Then the 5th round, we get our running back, James Conner, the running back from Pitt, 6'2", 240. We need a power back. We're losing Ryan Matthews, which we probably are. We need that power back to go in between Smallwood. I mean, there's no slouch in the size department. Sex joke, or Darren Sproles, but I love James Conner. He would definitely add a dimension to our offense that we haven't had in a long time. 5th round grade out of Pitt, so he's within the state, and I think James Conner would be phenomenal to add to this team. Hard runner, power guy. Then look at the 6th round, KD Cannon, the wide receiver from Baylor, 5'11", 180 pounds, 4.3 speed, might be the fastest player in this year's draft class. And just a guy to separate the field, to compete with Bryce Treggs. We need burners. We need as many burners as possible. Carson Wentz is a gunslinger. Get us some goddamn wide receivers that can stretch the field. And in the 6th round, I would totally go with KD Cannon, who's from that air raid Baylor type offense. And realistically, he's not that, in my opinion, he's not that far off from Corey Coleman, who went out in the 1st round to the Cleveland Browns. I don't think he's awful. And I'm definitely not saying he's better, but he's not that far off. The fact that he's getting a 6th, 7th round grade, I think that's, I would definitely jump all over that. And then with our 7th round pick, I'm going with another Jim Schwartz type linebacker, Ben Ballware, the inside linebacker from Clemson, 6 feet tall, 235 pounds. Not just a little bit undersized, but this guy is mean. He's a mean middle linebacker. It reminds me kind of Jeremiah Trotter. That's what he'd bring to our defense. I think in the 7th round, that's where you get the tough, technically sound linebackers that can end up making your roster and being a special teams player and a contributor right away. So there, guys, that is my first mock draft. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree or disagree with any of the picks. If I missed someone, you want me to check them out, I will do that. Subscribe if you're new, and until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.